go ahead.
Hey,
Greg?
it might look a little weird that I'm talking in a microphone and there's no speakers, but that brings me to the one thing that you'll hear from me today, that I'm going to pass it over to the real talent of today's show. My name's Dan. You may know me as Hardy the Hat Guy. I run Baseball Across Indiana. I'm not advertising, but it is baseballacrossindiana.com. We're on everywhere except TikTok, because we're a bunch of old guys and we're too old for TikTok. But we are recording right now. We were going to go live, but we're changed our mind, and we may actually run this in the evening. That way you guys can see it in the evening. So go to our Twitter page. Just look up Baseball Across Indiana, or YouTube, or Facebook for the parents, because you guys aren't on Facebook, right? We'll air it tonight, let's say 5 o'clock. It'll be online. So I just wanted to say real quick, because you'll see the camera coming around, we're going to interview some of you guys. We might even interview some of the parents. I know there's some coaches here. We're going to interview coaches, and I'm definitely going to interview these guys in the blue. And before I get started, I appreciate everything you guys are doing. Let's give them a hand. This will be the only time they get a hand. And one last shameless plug. Every Sunday night, it's This Week in Baseball Across Indiana. And every Saturday morning, we're starting, let your coaches know, it's called Saturday Morning Live. Who watches the ESPN College Game Day on Saturday morning? It's going to be like that. We're going to have coaches call in, media people call in. We're going to talk about all the games that are happening every Saturday. So find us anywhere, baseballacrossindiana.com. And I will pass it over to Mike, who am I passing to?
Good morning. I'm Mark Gallion, Indiana Director for NSR. Make just a few quick announcements. We're going to talk a little bit about what all we're going to be doing today. We're going to talk a little bit about the recruiting process. First and foremost, kids, thanks for being here. I know you guys made a major, major sacrifice. How many drove over an hour? It's a sacrifice. Who got you here for the most part? Turn around and give your parents a big hand. And your coaches. One day you guys are going to recognize and understand the sacrifices that they make for each one of you. We're all parents over here. We get it. We wouldn't do it any other way. We're going to start off with a really quick video.
What's up, Coach?
Good morning, Leanne. See, I had to have her down here because I don't know how to even turn on a phone. Everybody hear that?
I'm going to tell y'all a secret now about recruiting. This is no myth. You either know you're being recruited or you're not. Every drill, do it with intensity. If you're in the cage, do it with intensity. After I see you play, I can make a decision on whether or not you can play at the next level. Now we got to figure out what level you play at. If you got that skill set, one of these guys will get you in front of that coach. Here's the bottom line. It's about being seen. If a coach is not there to see you, he's not there to find you. Every kid NSR works with, every kid will get recruited. Every one of us have contacts at every level. And we know how important it is to be able to play at the next level. We've been doing this for 36 years, guys. We're the world's oldest and largest scouting recruiting organization. This is what we do.
If you're wanting to play baseball in college, you need to know your numbers. How hard you can hit, how hard you can throw, and how fast you can run. These are numbers that coaches are asking for when recruiting a player. So talk to an NSR scout today so that you can have all your questions answered about the recruiting process. That way you can get a game plan together so that you can live out your dream of playing college baseball. Go to nsr-inc.com/go to talk with an NSR scout today.
Pumps me up for many reasons, but the biggest reason is, and let me, before I get into that, let me thank Dan Hill. Dan was here at 5 o'clock in the morning to set all this up, and he did this for you guys. So please give him a hand real quick. Actually, I had to pay him with an NSR hat, which I'm cool with doing. But Coach Cagle, one of our chief scouts, was the MC of that, and he happens to be my son's scout as well. That was great. I loved hearing him talk. But the biggest thing about this was the committed, and it's really cool. And we've got some celebrities here. I'd like each one of you to come up. I'm gonna start with you, Caleb. Say your name, where you go to high school, and where you're committed to play college baseball, please.
All right, so I'm Caleb Winton. I go to Lebanon High School. I'm committed to Muskegon University. I'm going to major in special education, and my positions are pitcher, first base, and outfield.
Nice job.
I go to Fishers High School. I am committed to play baseball at Georgetown College.
What do you play?
Pitcher. My name's Braden Holland. I go to Center Grove High School. I'm committed to Cornerstone University, and I play outfield and I pitch. My name's Tyler House. I go to Center Grove High School. I'm committed to Ohio Christian University, and I'm a pitcher.
Hi, my name is Evan Rainey, and I go to Lafayette Jeff. I'm committed to William Woods University, and I'm a first baseman.
My name is Max Winders. I go to Carmel High School, and I'm committed to Western Kentucky University.
My name's Chase Alford. I go to Beech Grove High School, and I'm committed to Caskia College. I'm a middle infielder.
Hi, my name's Trey Arney. I'm a pitcher. I go to Greenwood Christian Academy. I'm going to Indiana West soon.
Very good. One more time for these guys. Again, I said we all have kids. All the scouts here have kids. These are also our kids. If you're an NSR athlete, please stand up. If you're a current NSR athlete, please stand up. These are also our kids. Give them all a round of applause. Okay, have a seat, boys. We'll make a couple of introductions real quick. We've got a lot of people here. Today is all about you guys, okay? But at the end of it, please do me one more favor. Thank Mom and Dad for doing everything they do. Start with Rusty Rigney. Rusty is Mr. NSR. He and three others came from Birmingham, Alabama today. I would say Alabaster, but you're not going to know where Alabaster is. For you guys, okay? Lucas Brown, Jamie Lerner, Jamie Owens, Brian Black, Leanne Bird, Michael Pittman, Carlos Paredes, Pat LaFave, Larry Perrin. Who am I missing? Where's Freddie? Marcus Fredwell. Where's Vern Smith? Greg Stalker. He's hiding. Greg Stalker. Vern Smith's going to run you through your dynamic warm-up today. He's going to talk a little bit about some nutrition. This little guy over here. Okay? He's going to be louder than that. But again, we thank all of you guys a lot for being here. It's going to be a good day. We're going to get verified metrics. We're going to get video on key positions. We're going to start by kicking some things off on common recruiting myths. And let's start with, if I'm good enough, they will find me. If I'm good enough, they will find me. Who believes that? Raise your hand really, really high. I'm really glad you guys kept your hands down. To give you an idea, in 21-22, there were over 482,000 high school baseball players. There were 34,500 college ball players. Who's good at math? Me either, okay? So there's roughly 1,650 colleges. That means there's 7% of you will go on and play college baseball. 7%, okay? So college coaches back in our day, Lucas played college baseball, went on and played the professional level, okay? Maybe back in his day, that coaches just came and went and watched games. They don't have the staff now. They don't have the budget. They don't have the time to just go watch the games. When a coach walks on into a facility, they have a list. 5, 6, 7 kids they're coming to see. If you're not on that clipboard, they're not coming to see you, I promise you that. Grades don't matter. Who believes grades don't matter? Brayton Holland, come here a minute. I pick on this kid all the time. I love him dearly. Brayden and his family, grandma, grandpa, I think Steve's around here somewhere, and his mom came to me and we wanted to talk about NSR. And academics is at the top for NSR and our families and our organization. Do you mind sharing what your GPA was when we first met?
My GPA was probably a 2.7.
He put a 3.0. If somebody tells you 3.0 or a 3.6, they're lying to you. Now, if somebody tells you I'm a 3.125 or 3.789, they're truthful. He put on his questionnaire he was a 3.0. And what were you?
2.7.
What did I make you do every single semester?
Send my grades in to you.
He sent his grades into me. Here's the good news. What are you right now?
Probably a 3.1.
Okay, he brought it up quite a bit in a short amount of time. Give him a hand. Any high school coaches, travel ball coaches here? Raise your hand. Give them a hand. Thank them for what they do. Coach Haney, you coach? Do you coach? Yes. You work a full-time job? Yes. You got a family? Yes. Are you a busy man? Yeah. How many kids are you responsible for? Right now? Yes. 4,000. That's just one coach. The myth that my coach has is, and we have a tremendous amount of respect for travel ball coaches, high school coaches. They've got a lot on their plate, okay? Mr. Haney, are you making at least 2 cents an hour now, would you guess? Maybe. 3 cents an hour? It's not for the money, okay? But I applaud all coaches, all travel ball coaches, all high school coaches. This is what we do every single day. We communicate with college coaches. We help student athletes that we choose to work with through the college recruiting process. It's too early. Do we have any 26 graduates? If you're a 26 or a 27 or 28 graduate, stand up, please. Aiden, I'm going to pick on. All right, there's quite a few here. That's great. I love it. Have a seat. Aiden, I'm going to pick on you. You're a 26, right? You think it's too early to start the process? Is it too early for a 25? Okay. Where I'm going with this, I think is a perfect time for us to start talking to athletes. If you're a 23 and you're not talking to college coaches, and after we evaluate you and we reach out, you better be returning our call, okay? You should be communicating with college coaches. 24s, we got some 24s in here. This is a huge, huge summer. If you're not prepared, if you haven't done what needs to be done for college coaches to know who you are, and we reach out to you, we see something, you need to return our call. If you're a 25, a 26, prime time to start thinking about and getting the college recruitment process going. 27s. Are there any 27 graduates in here? Is 27 graduate too early to start the college recruitment process? I was sitting up here. I don't know if you guys know Chris Eastep the other day. The other day, I'm sorry, no Chris Eastep. The other day I was sitting here. He got a call from a University of Alabama recruiting coordinator, whether or not they should offer a 27 graduate. 27. That's an 8th grade, ain't it? Man, if you're a 27 graduate and we reach out to you, I promise you, we see something special, you want to return our call. Let's talk about the divisions. We are not division guys, okay? Division 1, there's 11.7 scholarships available. Roughly a roster of 35. Division 2, 9 scholarships available. Division 3, 0 athletic, it's all academic. NAIA, there's 12 scholarships available. JUCO, there's 24. I'm sorry, there's 30. We got all levels here, okay? Come up here real quick. This little guy here, have you hit a weight or two lately?
No.
Would you tell who you are, where you're going to school?
I'm Corbin Napier, and I'm going to Vincent's University.
What position you play?
Third and catcher.
Give him a hand. There is good baseball at every single level. Who's heard of Franklin College? Everybody should have. Franklin College on the south side of Indiana. Who's heard of Notre Dame? A lot more hands. 3 years ago, Franklin College, a Division III program, played Notre Dame, Division I program. You guys are going to say, Notre Dame wiped the floor with them, right? Wrong. Franklin College beat Notre Dame. Franklin College continues to reach out to Notre Dame to play them on their schedule. They won't play them anymore. It's that simple. College should be for the best years of your life, okay? It is a commitment. These guys have all made a major commitment. They're going to make major sacrifices to play at the collegiate level. But it will be for the best years of their life. We got Lucas over here. See, you've been out how many years, Lucas? 7 years from college. He did play professional baseball. How many times in the 7 years you've been out has somebody asked, what division baseball did you play in college? Never. Find a school that checks the boxes for you. Find a school that has your academics, the opportunity to compete as early as possible in your career. To me, it doesn't do a whole lot of good if you're a division, say I went to Division I school, but I never played. Put yourself in a situation where you're going to have the opportunity to compete as early as possible in the process. Again, there's good baseball at all levels. There are 4 stages of the recruiting process. I'm going to go through them pretty quick. Identification and recognition. If college coaches don't know who you are, they don't know what you can do, they can't recruit you. I don't care how many Twitter posts you make. I don't care how many emails you send out, how many text messages. If they don't know who you are, you're not going to be recruited. I promise you that. Imagine a funnel. Okay, when college coaches look to recruit skill sets, they start with a funnel of 150, 200 kids. That starts their identification recognition. Then it goes to the evaluation process. Okay? Let's say take it down to they're learning to look at video and key verified metrics from trusted resources. That gets it down to, say, 90. Then comes the comparison stage. Comparison stage, for maybe 1 or 2 spots, you're going up against 25, 30 other kids at your same skill set. What separates you? Good grades. Are you coachable? Are you a teammate? Can you run? Can you throw? Can you hit? Is mom and dad a pain in the stands? I always look and see if kids look around to see mom and dad. It kind of concerns me. But anyways, parents, it's your job to get your kid to the game, support them, let them play the game, okay? You've had your time. And then comes the best stage, the offer stage. I'm going to bring Rusty Rigney up for just a minute. He's going to be mad at me because he didn't want to talk today, but I'm bigger than he is. Anyways, come on up, Rusty. Just kind of close us out. Before he gets started, once he finishes, parents, we're going to go upstairs. Corey Wade, a buddy of mine here, is going to talk to you about some other things. Kids, you're going to go with Vern Smith. Where's Vern? Vern, you're going to go get warmed up. Get warmed up quick. No lollygag around. Coach Pittman is going to break you into groups. We're going to do a lot of stuff today. We're going to do 60. We're going to do 5, 10, 5, overhand velo, exit velo, pitchers, catchers pop time, catchers velo. A lot of stuff we're going to do today. Then we will follow up with you with your metrics and a time to review your metrics, what they mean to college coaches, and your video, and go through your video and what we see, and then explain to you the college recruitment process, okay? For those athletes we choose to work with, 100% of our kids get recruited. You heard Coach Cagle, 100% of our kids get recruited. Mr. Rigney?
Well, thank you, Mr. Gallion. I appreciate that. It's great to be here. We do appreciate the invite from Mark to be able to come up and do this combine. It's hard to get on the list of the college coach. It's easy to get taken off the list. Be mindful of when you're running back to the dugout after the umpire makes a bad call. You take your helmet off and you slam it. You get marked off the list. Be mindful of when a coach emails you and you don't email them back, you get marked off the list. It's so easy to get marked off the list, a lot harder to get on the list. NSR kids, I know high school baseball is about to start up here. Make sure your parents are videoing everything. Make sure your stats are always up to date, and make sure you're updating your information. We're sending your information to college coaches nonstop. Make sure it's updated. Everybody have a good time today. There's a lot of you here. It's going to be busy. Listen to the guys that are instructing you. If this guy and his team calls you, make sure you take that call, no matter what the situation is. They do a great job, which is evident by all of the kids that Mark works with. Like he said, 100% will get recruited. If you have questions, a lot of people to answer those questions today. If it's after today, Mark's always available to answer your questions.
Probably a year and a half ago, I had like a pretty decent summer. They kind of helped me get my name out there, send emails, get formatting out there a little bit, and kind of like helped me really understand what recruiting process was about, NCAA eligibility really, because when I went on my first visit, the first thing they asked me is if I had an NCAA number. So yeah, they kind of just helped me with all the basics and getting my name out there, emailing coaches and whatnot.
That's interesting. I'm going to come back to that, but let's introduce yourself. Are you you're going to Iowa? You're going to Indiana Wesleyan? Fantastic program. They got a great recruiting class coming the next few years. Introduce yourself to our crowd here.
My name's Trey Arney. I'm a pitcher. I go to Greenwood Christian Academy. That's really it. I mean, two-way. I'm going to Iowa as a two-way, so it'll be fun.
As a two-way? Tell us what that means. Let's play. It's not hard for me to play the dumb guy, so explain that to me.
Yeah, so I'm pitching and hitting. That's really it.
Both sides. You're not specializing in pitching.
Yeah, probably first base as well.
Tell us about now. I don't know if you can check that or not. I mean, I'm not the tallest guy in the world, but I think I saw the first baseman in you. Tell us about your NSR experience.
Yeah, so they really helped me with video. That was a big thing. We always were able to get together and able to film stuff, whatever I needed for coaches. They were always there, and they were always super responsive. So immediately when I texted or reached out, I got a response within 10 minutes every time.
I know Coach Benjamin at Indiana Wesleyan, great coach. Now, who's currently the skipper at Western Kentucky?
Coach Rarden. He's from Iowa Western Community College. And then they have Fernier at recruiting coordinator, and I think they share about 1,900 wins together.
Nice. Tell us what was some of the confusing parts of college or the recruiting process that, going into college. I mean, everybody's got, signing up for college, everything like that has its own. But as far as going to play athletics, what were some of the challenges that maybe NSR helped you out with to ease the confusion?
Kind of just who would be reaching out with me. They were kind of real with what division or what area of baseball I'd play in, mid-major, Power 5, whatever it may be, even down to JUCO, everything's an option for NSR. They got links everywhere, so they were kind of real with me with that, and that kind of eased my confusion on where I'd be playing in the future.
Well, I'll tell you, and the same question to you, and I'll tell you, going back to the recruiting class at Indiana Wesleyan is strong. They have Hirschberger from Fairfield, who is potential preseason All-State this year. Also, Yair from Shakamak. You've probably heard that name that's coming there. So tell us about the NAIA. Is it any different, or what are some of the confusing parts that NSR helped you out with there?
Okay, so I'd say the main difference is just a lot of new people every year. NAIA, there's lots of transfers in and out. So every year the team can change a lot. I'd say that's the biggest difference between NAI and the other divisions. The thing, NSR helped me a lot. I wouldn't say they helped me kind of like be able to like talk with coaches. They knew all the coaches. They were able to set meetings up, set up visits really easily, and they kind of did a lot of the stuff kind of for me. I didn't have to do too much.
How's Greenwood Christian looking this year?
I think we'll win our sectional. We're looking pretty strong. Yeah, really excited.
Carmel, I think you got a new coach. How's Carmel looking this year?
Really good. Rated preseason #1 in the state of Indiana. Hoping we can kind of follow through with that, win a state championship, first of ever in the program. If we're going to do it, it's got to be this year.
Well, and you guys are independent, so you know who do you have circled on your schedule?
We really had Center Grove circled, but we cut contracts with them preseason because of a little scuffle with our basketball coach.
We won't go into that.
Yeah. I think Fishers probably. Fishers and Zionsville really have a deep staff, especially with like their starting pitchers are just they're crazy. Now I think we have the better depth on the field, better hitters, but definitely those two.
Well, both of you guys are surrounded by great programs. You know, you're surrounded by Hoosier Crossroads Conference teams. You mentioned Fishers and Zionsville. Of course, you got Westfield, Hamilton Southeastern all around you there. Greenwood Christian, you're down there by Center Grove, Greenwood. You got a guy down there just south of you in Franklin Community that I think a few people might have heard of. I'm not for sure, but so a lot of challenging games this year. It's going to be an exciting year, guys. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right, guys, who's got the best 60 time here? What are we looking for? Back in my day, I had 12 seconds. You got to be able to beat 12 seconds, right?
I think it would be 12 seconds.
This is like a long distance run for me. What are you looking for? What's your best? Do you know what your best 60 time is, or you're going to set it right here?
I'm going to set it.
Heritage Christian? All right. What year?
2025.
2025. Coach Heritage Christian?
Dan Ambrose.
That's right. No, he's been there a while. That's right. Sorry, Coach Ambrose. How you guys looking this year?
Pretty good.
You got anybody circled on your schedule?
No.
All of them. Good answer.
Anything under 7's good, but I'd like to have 6'8" or below probably.
Probably anything under 7'5".
6'8", 6'9". Trying like 6'8" too.
They beat my 12. It's a long distance run. So what grade are you guys in?
I'm a freshman.
Freshman?
Junior.
Freshman. So prime, but what's the high school?
Cathedral High School.
Cathedral. Eastbrook.
Franklin
Central. You guys got a player this year that a few people have heard of. And Port Berries.
Yeah.
That's right. What your 60 time? What were you looking for? I forgot what you said.
I didn't say anything but 6'9", 7.
Now you guys are still kind of young. Do you guys know the history of his program? They are legendary. They have two former coaches that we actually lost them both a couple years ago in the Indiana Baseball Hall of Fame. They went through a series there where they won the state championship, I think, 3 out of 4 years in a row. So very legendary program, but well represented here, guys. Have you thought about where you want to play, or have you committed?
I don't think division matters because there's great competitive programs at every level, and I'm just looking to play some great baseball.
Well, you mentioned IWU. They've got, we talked about this earlier to one of the people that committed to IWU, and their recruiting class next year, they're NAIA, and their recruiting class next year is one of the top recruiting classes in Indiana at all levels. So, I mean, it's I can't agree more that
my high school coach was one of the scouts. We used to work at IWU, and so he was a scout, and yeah, he knows all about that process.
Well, Coach Benjamin, you don't get much better than Coach Benjamin at Indiana Westland. Have you guys thought? Anybody else had any thoughts about where you might want to play, or if you want to play?
Anywhere that takes me.
Anywhere that takes you. I like it. Guys, I appreciate it. Good luck this year. So, do you have any of your guys here today?
Yes, we have some of our guys here, both from the high school, and I also run USA Prime Indiana here, and so we have quite a few of our guys from our organization that's in attendance. So we're really happy about that.
Well, and they got a great turnout here today. I mean, first of all, tip of the cap to NSR. for putting on this event. But tell us about how important this is, for the recruiting process.
Well, for some it's the beginning stages. For others, it's a matter, of an opportunity to get noticed. And I mean, you can just see, the number of kids and players that's here from, a range of grades. But it just goes to show the things that you're going to have to do if you want to stand out, as and attracts the better players, and you're going to be able to go side by side with maybe some of your peers and be able to determine where you stand. Against other players in the state of Indiana, but then it's also part of that recruiting process to where now you need to stand out, now you need to be seen in the things that you need to do, and hopefully you start receiving those calls from the colleges and get some interest that's built.
Well, and a good representation of geographically of schools here too. I think the farthest north I saw Logansport, I think, was here, and south. I don't know how far. Well, of course, Center Grove. But I think it goes farther south than that. Then all kinds of travel teams are represented. So, tell us about that process. What is something that a college kid needs to know? Why does or not a college kid, a prospective college athlete, what do they need to know? And why do they need to be at something like this?
Well, for me, it all starts with academics. And if you're looking at particular colleges, that's where it starts. But you start needing to build some name recognition, start getting the stats and the information out there in front of the coaches' eyes. I think it's important for the kids to know that they need to start building a recruiting list on their own as well. They need to identify the colleges that they are interested in, and do their part. They can take the information from the NSR, they can take video from their high school season that's starting, and they can have a big hand in the recruiting process themselves. And they can start identifying the colleges that they would be interested in, but then also pay attention to, as they attend other showcases, and the colleges that's attending those showcases try to reach out to them as well. And the biggest thing is just developing that portfolio for that player, and identify the places that they want to go.
But how long have you been, just coaching in general?
I have been coaching for over 20 years now.
20 years.
Yes.
How is so you've seen the explosion of like the travel ball scene and things like that. How has that impacted the process for a kid to take this game to the next level?
Well, it's huge, and I think when you see when draft day comes around, and the number of players that's from the state of Indiana just continues to increase over and over. And shortly when I got into coaching, travel was just beginning, and it put kids in that environment to be able to be seen and to have that exposure. And every year that just continues to grow and grow. More and more kids have so many opportunities now through training, through travel, and different organizations. Basketball, or Indiana, will always be known as a basketball state. But
I'm trying to do my part.
I know you are, and I appreciate that, because there's before travel. I mean, there was a lot of hidden talent, I think, in the state of Indiana that went unidentified, and now it's starting to come out. And for us who are pure baseball enthusiasts, it's really exciting to see, because it's always been here. Now it's just starting to come out.
The talent's not new, but I think the exposure is we're finally starting to get identified, because I think that Midwest generally, I think the Midwest kid, they're hardworking kids, kind of blue collar, But now things like NSR, things like the travel ball scene, really it's leveled the playing field as far as exposure.
It has.
So I couldn't agree more.
Well, down south they get to do it. They get to play this game, a lot more than what we do. And here we have 150 plus kids that's inside this facility right now. And these are the things that's developing, even throughout the state of Indiana. More facilities and and more events like this that puts kids to the forefront and be able to get that identification.
Tell us about the local travel ball scene, or the local baseball scene. Coming up to the high school age, the 15U scene in your area.
It's growing. I know, locally it was always, baseball came around later. Softball was always big up around our way locally, and it was a bit of a buy-in, from the baseball side of it. But that's starting to explode now too, as we provide more opportunities around the Grant County area and really the Central Indiana area. It becomes a matter of some parents and kids see what the others are getting, what their peers are getting, and their development, because that's the biggest piece of it. in the travel organizations, especially with us through USA Prime Indiana, it's they're going to get 6 weeks of training. They're in the wintertime. They're going to have a fall season. They're going to have a spring season. So they're going to have those opportunities. It's going to be greater than maybe some others. And parents and the other kids are seeing that, and they want to have a part of it as well. And and then when you magnify that throughout the state of Indiana, that's where that's where this is exploding. That's where baseball is growing in Indiana.
Well, and obviously with USA Prime, you're all in.
Yes.
Was there an adjustment period? How quickly were you to adopt this whole new baseball environment that we've seen over the last 10 years?
We were forced to, just because of how big that it was. We started actually 3 years ago under a different name called Indiana Tomahawks is where we actually started. This past summer, we had the opportunity through USA Prime to grow. We didn't realize that it would grow to where it is, but we went from 14 teams to almost 45 teams, really just almost overnight. And I go back to our very first tryout that we had at Indiana Wesleyan University, and it was like I liken it to the Field of Dreams movie at the very end, where it was just the long line of taillights or headlights. Right. And we turned around one time and looked, and there was probably 200 kids at Indiana Wesleyan from the registration table all the way out to the road. And I turned around.
That's a problem a lot of coaches would like to have.
Would love to have it. I said, I think we might be onto something here. But it just goes to the point of these kids, they're searching for something, and it was like, and that was the moment that I think we're onto something here, and it just exploded from that point.
Is there an age? Because I know, I'm going back to the old years when I used to quote unquote coach, and there historically there's always been a big drop off from 12 to 13. Is that still a thing, or what age groups have you found maybe that are kind of hard to maintain or sustain that good involvement?
Well, locally in communities, I think there are two. That is between basically that T-ball to coaches or coaches pitch to Little League. 8 to 9 years old, because the game changes so much. Now all of a sudden kids are seeing pitchers, and in a lot of communities you have 9 through 12 that is Little League, and with baseball growing the way that it is, you have a lot of 12-year-olds that can throw the ball really hard. It's a little intimidating for some 9-year-olds. So I think you see a fall off there, and you see a fall off between 12 and 13. I haven't found that it's as great, but between 12 and 13, now they're going from the Little League diamond oftentimes to the regular big
maturity change there sometimes too.
It's huge. Now they're going to a small diamond to a big diamond, and that's a big adjustment. So what we do at that age group is we try to find as many tournaments as we can within what they call the intermediate distance. So that is going to be a gap. It's going to be 54 feet mound, 80 feet bases. So that provides kind of a transition, if you will, between the small diamond and the bigger diamond. When we played, we were forced to have to make that adjustment, but we can transition into that a little bit better now, and I kind of hope that's an area that grows, in the state of Indiana with that age group, because I think you could really offer it at 14 as well. I just think it's going to make for a little bit better of a game. It's going to be a little bit more exciting. A bigger opportunity for those 13 and 14s if they can play from an intermediate distance.
Well, and you brought up another good point too, which is I think there's some misnomers about travel baseball, that it has to look and be a certain way. You have to spend $5,000 per player. You have to go to these tournaments all over the country, and there is that.
Right.
But there's being that you have your finger on the pulse of it, tell us, it can be basically what you want it to be.
It can. And that's the nice thing in Indiana, that you can find a team and an organization that is going to fit your skill level, and it will allow you to advance as the development kicks in and takes place, and their game continues to grow. There's other organizations that they're going to be able to take it that may match their needs. And that's important. For us, we try to find a mix between development and those game opportunities. So if you want to chase tournaments, you'll find organizations that these kids can play 13, 14 tournaments, in a summer. We find that around 10 is a pretty good number, but we want to invest in our coaches and have the coaches invest in the kids, and really focus on the development of the game and the overall development.
And there's a balance there, and I think
There
both
is.
are important
There
too.
is.
Going back, because
It
I
is.
think there are some times where, you know, at this point in my development, I need to focus on exposure.
Mhm.
You know,
Yep.
and at this point, you know, then you also have the organizations, the teams that are focusing on development and less. So I just wanted to kind of highlight that because I think there's some misconceptions
There
about
is.
travel ball.
There is, and it is expensive. You know, I mean,
But it's not one size fits all.
It's not. It is not one size fits all. And there, like I said, there are different organizations that can reach and do different, you know, and have their own specialties, if you will. For us, and you know, in late winter, between late October to around January, we have our velocity program. So we are intentional on arm care from the throwing side, and also from a hitting side of developing exit velocity. Exit velocity, velocity. Unfortunately, we're living in a game where numbers is everything. You know, we've kind of gotten away from the eye test. You know, just going out and watching a player and
It's
know.
the old Moneyball argument.
The Moneyball argument, yes, it is. So. But it's getting better.
Yeah.
And that's what's most exciting, especially for somebody like us who's been around the game for a long while. We're seeing a big transition, and I mean, just seeing this with 150 plus kids out here.
Oh, this is fantastic.
Is so exciting.
Yeah. Well, I think you had a great vantage point, which is why I wanted to talk about some of those things, because you've been, you're a seasoned veteran coach, and plus you're, like I said earlier, you got your fingers on the pulse of travel baseball as well, so a great perspective on that. Now tell us about this year, Mississinawa.
You know, I'm excited every season, and I know this sometimes as coaches speak, but believe me,
no stock answers.
But believe me when I tell you, I cannot be any more excited than I am this year. Some of that is a matter of we went intentional 8 years ago to get down to the lowest level that we could. So we started with 8-year-olds, and they are now freshmen in our organization. So between those, between now and 8 years ago, we were also working with every other age group that was in between, and we're starting to see the benefits, the fruit of that labor that's starting to hit.
Well, that's what you got to tip your cap to any administration that gives the coaches the time to build that program, because that takes time.
It does, and especially in baseball, because I mean there's a reason that like for instance MLB pitchers really don't take off until their late 20s. Right. It's a hard game.
It is.
And so it's.
I pulled a hamstring watching them run the 60 here.
You can, exactly. You can. And, so we're starting to see that development that's taking place, and that's what I'm really excited about. We have, we've been able in our we've had a couple live ABs, and the pitchers are further ahead than where we've been. Our velocity is up. Their secondary pitches is where it needs to be. Our defense is improving. Our offense is going to look a little bit different this year than what it has looked in the past, which from a coaching standpoint is kind of exciting just because it forces us to recognize the players that we have and adjust to them and create a game that is going to push them, but also it's going to be an exciting brand of baseball too. And so for several reasons, like I said, I know it's sometimes coaches speak, but I cannot be any more excited about this group. Great attitudes, hard workers, who have been in the program, who have been working the program, and now we're starting to see all that come to us.
Well, one more question, and I'll let you go because I can do this all day. I know they just finished the tour, I guess you would say, of the umpire updates, the rules updates. Any rule updates in the pipe that we need to highlight maybe this year, or is it pretty standard?
No, pretty standard.
Pretty standard?
Yeah, pretty standard fare. Every year they kind of have a point of emphasis that is addressed, but it's all pretty standard fare. I just, from a coach's standpoint, I'm appreciative of what the IHSAA is doing for us to be able to expand arm care and really focus on that area, because anything that is an overhead delivery puts a lot of stress on arms, and the IHSAA has been cognizant of that and really working with our association and developing solid plans and guidelines and times for us to be able to work that arm care into our programs. And I think you will see the fruits of that. That's going to benefit here in years to come, as well as as programs can work those arm care programs, they will be able to benefit from that over time.
Very good. Mike Scott, Mississippi, seasoned veteran. This is why Indiana high school baseball is in good hands right here. We are with Corey Wade, and a really interesting story, interesting backstory. How would I even start to introduce you? Tell us about, where you played in Indiana, then you went to the D2 route. Give us a little background.
So I was born and raised in here in Indianapolis. I went to Broad Ripple High School. God rest its soul. It's no longer high school anymore. Now
I want to interject real quick and say I need a Broad Ripple hat. I know it doesn't exist anymore. I'm just throwing that out there.
I'll see what I can do. I might be able to find something in a box for you. But I ended up went to Broad Ripple, and I got recruited by Kentucky Wesleyan. It was the only school that I even got a chance to go to. It was a smaller D2 school in Owensboro. And I went there, played there for 3 years, and then I was drafted in 2004 by the Dodgers in the 10th round, and then kind of worked my way up slowly through that system and kind of was on the slow track. I played in rookie ball 2 years. I played in low A for 2 years, played in double A for 2 years, and then I finally got my break in 08 and made my debut there and spent 2 years in the big leagues with the Dodgers. And then I went to Tampa for a little bit, and then I signed and played 2 years in the big leagues with the Yankees, and then kind of did the minor league bounce around. And it was finally time to shut it down. You kind of know you kind of feel it in your body and mind. Time to shut it down. Then I scouted professionally for 9 years with the Padres, and then I started this new gig with Scout Us Pro.
Well, let's talk about that because every player. I think this is I'm stealing a Moneyball line here, but every player has to come to that point where they say they can't play the kids game anymore.
Yeah.
You did that, but you stayed in baseball. You scouted for 9 years or so. Scout US Pro. Tell us what it is, and then we're going to talk about that backstory a little bit because I love the reason why just as much as I love what it is.
So Scout Us Pro kind of came along during the COVID era, and we knew that it was going to start being cut down with the draft is going to be cut down a whole lot with the whole COVID situation, and this is a way for us to be able to kind of even the playing field with it being a free opportunity for guys to upload their information, upload the app, and to be able to be seen professionally, whether it's going to be independent baseball, affiliated baseball, or even playing internationally. And that's really the key, is that it's free for them to be able to do that, and then we go to the teams and give teams, basically I always kind of describe it like a Zillow. They're able to put in what they want, what they kind of like, or if you want to call it like a buffet, they can go in and put in what they want, what they like in a player, and then all those players will pop up and populate for them to be able to do.
It's a Google for talent. I mean, for the talent pool, really. So tell us about who is this something these high school kids do it once you're in college, out of college? I mean, what's the target audience you're looking for?
Well, you can do both, because the sooner you can get the eyes on a player, the better off it is. Whether it's, you know, college or professionally, that side apart, like the sooner we're able to be able, and this is from a scout's perspective, the sooner we're able to get a view on that player and see what they can project to be, the better picture we can paint about that player. So if they're able to upload that and say they're throwing 85 now, but they're 14, I'll just throw a random number out there, and then you see them again at 18, and now they're 87, and then you see them again, and then you see these numbers trending up, then you're able to decide on what you're going to do. And the key is with the whole thing, again, I kind of mentioned with the rounds being cut, you know, unfortunately there's going to be more guys that are going to fall through the crack, which is the sad part. But you know, they're going to use independent league baseball and other professional leagues to be able to help players improve and then maybe be able to get to that affiliated level.
I like what you said offline is, you know, you've got the NSR, you've got PBR, you've got all these organizations that are, you know, giving you the exposure for moving up to the collegiate level. But this kind of picks up from there. But tell me if I'm summarizing this right. It picks up from there to help you extend that exposure to the professional circuit and wherever that is, you know, overseas, you know, independent ball, things like that. But so talk to me about a kid that's watching this. You know, his coach doesn't know anything about it, and he's a high school kid. So first of all, let's just, can a high school kid download this app, and where do they get started?
Yeah.
And
no, sorry, absolutely, yes. So they can go ahead and download the app. You know, if they're younger than 18, obviously they have to have their parents' consent to be able to do it, just for legality reasons. But once they do that, they're able to upload any of their positions, their size, their weight, and all this stuff can be updated whenever those metrics and things are able to change. So they do that now, and then once they do that, then they're able to be seen by those professional ranks, and then that process will kind of keep on going. Then as they go into college, it'll be kind of the same thing.
that's what I kind of want to re-emphasize, was that it'll follow you. You know, so there's nothing to say a kid can't start now, because then, like you said, just kind of reiterating that, they'll see the progress over the years. But ultimately, you know, so who is looking at this? So you have, are the MLB scouts, you know, like you used to do, are they looking at this, or how are you marketing it to them, or the other people that you want to see that?
No, it's a great question. So we have 6 major league affiliates on there now. We have Mexican league teams, we have independent baseball teams, and we're starting to get with the European baseball teams as well, for them to start searching for players to be able to fill out their rosters. That's been really the cool part. We actually just had 17 guys signed to independent league contracts the last couple of days with an event that we were running, doing the same thing. So just again, for them to be able to have an extra avenue to be able to be seen, it's not to take away from any other thing that they do, whether it's going to be Twitter or Facebook or whatever avenue they want to be able to get their information out there. Now this is one centrally located place that teams can go to be able to find the talent that they want.
Well, and you know, the professional scene, and I'm preaching to the choir with you, is not a, oh, you got hired, your next game's in the bigs. You know, it's a journey, it's a roller coaster up and down. So the fact that this sticks with you through that progression, and it's just one more thing. So tell us, summarize it, make it dumb for Hardy the Hat Guy to understand. How do they get started? What's the app called? Is it on all the app stores, or? Yeah,
so they'll start off. You can download it at the Google Play Store or the App Store. You can when you do that, it's completely free. It's super easy to start off and going. And honestly, people who don't really know about technology are able to do this again, and you can update this and change this as you're moving forward.
Scout Us Pro. We've been talking to Corey Wade. Corey, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Have a good one.
You too. Another coach with us here, Coach Donald Baker of Purdue Polytech. The first thing I got to ask is, so you're with the Purdue Poly Indianapolis. Purdue Poly North, is that a new program? What do we know about that?
Yeah, the Purdue Poly North program is new. They're going into their second year. They're not IHSAA certified quite yet, but they will be hopefully next year.
Okay. So how long have you been at Purdue Poly?
I've been at Purdue Poly for 3 years now. As a program, we've been around for 4.
Yep. I knew they were. We talked about getting an update on my hat there. I got one of the original versions of the Purdue Poly hat. Give us a little bit about your background. You know, where you played, grew up.
So I started playing baseball at 4 years old in Dayton, Ohio. I played all the way to college. Once I got to college, I decided to be an actual college student. I missed the game a whole lot. I moved to Indianapolis, found a school, and started coaching. I have my master's in sports administration, so I'm really interested in sports and just growing our program as a whole.
Well, I do. I love the Purdue Poly program. The concept of the school. I'm all on board with it. Let's talk about your season this year. I know your sectional. You got a good sectional. I think it's Beach Grove, Speedway, Heron. So competitive sectional. Tell us about who you got circled on the. And I'm not going to let you give the stock answer of we got them all circled. Who's on your schedule this year? You're looking forward to.
I'm really looking forward to playing Beach Grove this year. They're a really good program. I like their coach a lot. They did a lot of good things last year. They're bringing back most of that squad this year. So just they're measuring to see how close we are to being on that level.
They're a good measuring stick, and they are. You're right. They are going to be hot this year. So Beach Grove is going to be one of the many teams right there in the greater Indianapolis area that's going to be strong. So what's your makeup of the team this year? Are you underclass heavy, upper class heavy?
We're underclass heavy. We have a senior leader, Kenny Miller, who's played for 3 years now. Then we have 2 seniors after him. But besides that, we have 8 sophomores who are pretty much the core of our team.
Yep. Now, are they multi-sport athletes or?
Some. We have a good mix of soccer players, a couple football players, but roughly half of them are all just baseball.
Yep.
So they play baseball in the summer, they play baseball in the fall. So when we get to now we're in school season, have a lot of reps. So hoping it works out for us.
Now you've got some guys here representing Purdue Poly. I mean, how special is this? You know.
It is amazing. Just to, as a coach, to have their data, to have their measurables, to see what I need to work on as a coach, to see what they need to work on as a player is really good. Also, just a couple guys that I think can play in the college level at maybe D3, D2. So just having these stats, this video will really help us out to do my job better.
Well, and that's one thing I love about NSR is, you know, they're promoting the collegiate baseball at all levels, you know, because that ultimately is, you know, the end game is to move your career to the next step, you know, and that can be done at any level, and I really like that. So what have you talked to the guys? What are your players that are here saying about the event?
They're loving it. They're having fun. They're with their teammates, so that's always good. They're relaxed. They're seeing other guys at other schools to see, again, measuring sticks. How close are we? How far are we? What's doing good? Kenan Miller, our senior on our team, he ranked 3rd in the 60s, so he's really pumped right now.
Nice.
So we're hoping to keep that success going for this afternoon.
Well, I was joking with some of them that I think they could beat my 12-second 60. I mean, that's a long-distance run for me right there.
Yes,
I think I pulled a hamstring watching them. But now let's talk about, you know, I'm a big component of, and I know IHSAA has had a push, and others have had a push. NSR's got a push of promoting inner-city baseball.
Yeah.
And I'm all on board with anybody that wants to promote inner-city baseball. I know another team that we didn't mention this in your sectional, Indianapolis, Washington. Coach Carlisle started that program now, I think maybe 4 years ago after a hiatus of like 8 to 10 years. Yeah. Are there any certain challenges with inner-city baseball?
Yeah, the challenges are we don't get kids who have grew up playing baseball. I'm from an inner city in Ohio. I started playing baseball at 4 years old. I don't have any kids on my team that started playing at 4 years old. When you go outside the city, out into the townships, kids are playing baseball earlier. So as our challenge is finding kids early who want to play and building on those skills. And once they get to high school, we're not really at the varsity level. We're teaching instead of working on strategy. So we're almost a step behind. It's okay. It's hard work, but we're here for it.
Well, I tip my hat to every coach because I love what you guys do. Tell us about, you grew up in the inner city baseball. Is there a compare contrast maybe to the inner city baseball you played in Ohio growing up? Is there a different environment or?
There's not a different environment. Honestly, it's a little bit better here because we have the RBI system.
Yeah.
Where I grew up, we didn't have the RBI system, so we had what was called First Dayton. And when I was 8 years old, First Dayton folded. So we composed a team, a travel team. We stayed together pretty much till I graduated. But just having the RBI system here is doing a lot of good things. We have to make sure we're pouring our time, energy, and efforts into RBI to make sure those kids at a younger age are growing up playing baseball. So when they get to high school, if they come to my school, if they go to Washington, if they go to Tech, if they go to university, it doesn't matter. They have those skills to actually compete.
Right. Well, the RBI program he's talking about, which maybe I'll just let you talk about it a little bit, but I'm a big fan of it. It's basically just an organization that has the area of and there can be RBI programs. It's sponsored by Major League Baseball. And they can have programs really anywhere, but I think the RBI program focuses on inner city baseball just because I think it's been, I think it has some challenges across the country, really. It's not really unique to Indiana. So tell us maybe a little bit more about the RBI program and how that works.
Yeah, so the RBI program, again, it's a, like you said, a really, really good program. They get kids from 5 different parks around the city of Indianapolis, roughly 1,400 kids who are all just wanting to play baseball. You can start at 5 years old, play up through into high school. Once you get to high school, you can play 3-4 nights a week, pretty much for $25 a summer.
Do they have an age limit? Because I'm 50 and I want in.
I wish. It's a good program. They do a lot of good things. They get kids young. And we're in Indianapolis. We see these super athletes in all these other different sports.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can get those super athletes.
Get them on the baseball
Yeah,
field.
get them on the diamond and they see some success pretty early, hopefully.
Well, you're right. I mean, Indianapolis, the greater Indianapolis area, all the way to right downtown, it's just full of athletes. And I support people like you that are trying to get them on a baseball diamond because that's just going to promote the already fantastic baseball scene across the state of Indiana. So, Coach, I really appreciate it. Good luck this year. Thanks. We're here with some more Cathedral up-and-comers. We got Junior. Introduce you guys.
I'm Max Finn, junior at Cathedral, and I play shortstop and third base.
I'm Charlie Finn. I'm a freshman at Cathedral, and I pitch and play outfield.
I'm Tyler Carlos, a freshman. I play short and second.
Now, Coach Friege is, and am I pronouncing that right? Yeah. Okay. Coach, hold me accountable here. But Coach Friege is a veteran and got a lot of respect for everything he does. So as you guys just introduced your positions, what if Coach Friege says, nah, I think you're going to be playing right field?
We'll listen to him. Yeah.
That's the right thing to say when you're on camera, absolutely. So you guys, you almost won it again last year. You went all the way to the final, lost to a very good Penn team. The expectations at Cathedral are high, but that's probably why you guys are there. Tell us about how that, you guys are freshmen. Do you feel that expectation already when you haven't taken the diamond yet on a varsity game?
Yeah, you can definitely feel it. The guys above you, just how they practice and it's the way they act.
Is there a leadership hierarchy there, and how's it work with the upperclassmen, bringing in the new guys?
We try to make them feel like a family, like right off the bat, first practice in, and just keep that relationship growing for a lifetime.
What's the outlook for this year for Cathedral?
I think we're gonna be a tough team to beat. I think we can make another run in the tournament, possibly win a state championship again.
Well, you guys always have one of, if not the toughest schedule. You're not in a conference, you're independent. Yeah. So you can play whoever, wherever. Are you guys going down south at the beginning of the year? Are you guys going to Tennessee like most of the teams do? Or
I'm not believe
not sure. What about your schedule? As tough as schedule you guys have, you have anybody circled, or growing up, are you following the teams, or maybe do you have a personal team that I can't wait to play them?
Not really a specific team. We're just trying to take care of every team we see.
Good stock answer. They got the future success in front of the camera right here. Some Cathedral up-and-comers. Appreciate it, guys. Here with Jose Rupert, a junior at HSE Hamilton Southeastern. Another great franchise, with your smack dab in the middle of the heart of the toughest conference in baseball in Indiana. So tell us, who do you got circled on the calendar, on the schedule this year? Or probably all of them. You don't really have a down.
I was just about to say, when I look at the schedule, I just see everybody. So
you're a junior. Where's Coach Seitz got you playing this year, you think?
Probably left center. Left center? Because that's where I like to be. But I'll play any of them.
That's another good stock answer.
I love outfields in general.
There you go. So tell us about your experience here at the NSR Combine.
I mean, it's pretty good because last time I came here was when I was sort of new to baseball, and I was just figuring out, because I didn't have no stats. I was fresh, absolutely zero. So I had to get my velos, my speed. I'm pretty sure my velocity, my exit velocity, and my running time and pro shuffle all increased by a lot. And I've gotten stronger throughout the years. Because weights, I also take the weights class there too.
Nice, very nice. What now? Who are you playing? Who you play for in the summer and the fall?
So I recently joined this new team. They're called U.S. Athletics.
Okay.
Yep. So
have you you're a junior, so it's time to start looking at college. Are you looking to take the game to the next level, or are you looking for academics, or what's your thoughts on college?
I mean, I definitely want to take the game to the next level because I'm actually, when I graduate, I'm going to move to Texas, so I'm hoping to find a school there. So me and my mom I'm either playing for a 2-year or a 4-year. I'm happy with either choice. So we were looking at a handful of 2-year schools and then a handful of 4-year schools. Because, for example, like I had a list of colleges I wanted to go to, but then my teacher, her name is Miss Bush. She's like the college and careers teacher. She said instead of putting it like this, put it on its side, and those are your options instead of your favorites and least favorite.
Right.
And it basically made it way better.
Well, it sounds like you've put a lot of thought into it, so I think you're going to succeed wherever you go. Are you looking for other sports, or are you just focusing maybe on baseball now at Hamilton Southeastern in the future?
I mean, I've considered playing different sports, but for right now, I just want to focus on baseball. Because, not gonna lie, I'm probably the least successful person here, but that also makes me want to work harder too. Because all I know is failure, 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 and I just want to, get up there.
There's nothing better than baseball where you learn from failure. I mean, the old adage is the people who failed 7 out of 10 times are in the Hall of Fame. So there's nothing. So the fact that you're failing and you're learning from it, that is exactly the right track, and exactly future planning is well done. Nice talking to you.
Nice.
All right, we got another group here. I think we got University represented, Western, Garin Catholic. All you guys have some dudes this year. Introduce yourself and tell us what grade you're in.
Josh Newton. I'm a freshman at University High School.
Nolan Ratcliffe, freshman at Garin.
I'm Cole Shock. I'm a junior at Western.
I'm Nathan Grumblespacher. I'm a junior at Garin Catholic.
I'm Caden Ratcliffe. I'm a junior at Garin Catholic.
Now, I know all your coaches. I've met them all, but so I don't mispronounce their names. Who's Coach E-Step, and at Western, it's
Ryan Berriman.
Ryan Berriman, that's right. And Garin?
Keith Nunley.
That's right. So you said junior?
Freshman.
Freshman. Junior. Okay. How's Garin Catholic looking this year?
Looking pretty solid, actually.
Yeah, I think we should be pretty good this year.
Got some new freshman weapons. We lost our shortstop last year. He's up at Chapman in California, but we're going for the conference title. We'll hopefully win a sectional, maybe go a little bit further.
Who do you got circled on your conference as a big matchup? That's a decision or a measuring stick game in the conference this year.
Probably Brebeuf. Brebeuf, definitely. We went head-to-head with them last year. Split the series with them. We were 7-3 in conference. They were 8-2, so we just barely.
They lost a couple dudes on that team too, so it'll be a good matchup this year. Western, you guys got legit players this year. How you guys looking?
We're looking very strong right now. Our pitching is still settling in, and our hitting still settling in, but everything's looking as should be.
Well, I follow you guys religiously online, and you're definitely very active. University, how you guys looking this year?
Looking really good. We have a couple good pitchers this year, a couple guys in the 90s. We're going to be pretty good this year.
How you guys looking tournament-wise? I know, Garin, you guys are looking good. Western, you guys, you got some dudes. Matter of fact, I think we're going to be at broadcasting one of your games this year. What's maybe some personal goals from you? Some of you are coming into your freshman year. Some of you are coming into your junior year. What's some personal goals you have for this year?
Probably to just make minimal errors in the infield, and then also hit above 400 like I did last year, and just stay on that.
There you go. To get some varsity innings.
Start small. There you go.
Pitch well in varsity whenever I'm needed.
Probably just not make errors in the field, and probably bat over 300.
Stay consistent with the bat. Try to knock through plateaus, just to stay consistent, keep building off, and stay healthy.
Tell us about this your experience here today at the combine. You get to see other players here, and you're measuring yourself maybe against them and how they're doing too. How do you think you're doing today?
I feel like I'm doing pretty good. I didn't get as much as I wanted on the mound, but I still did pretty good in every other thing that I was doing.
Didn't you guys beat my 12-second 60 time?
I think I might have, but I don't know how fast I went on there.
So college. Now, some of you are only freshmen, and it might be a little too early. But are you looking at college? Are you looking to take your game to the next level? or are you multi-sport athletes? Maybe another game. What are you thinking about for college?
I'm looking to go D1, obviously, but I have a few calls tomorrow and then next weekend with a few colleges so then get
Anything you can reveal, or is it you're going to keep it under wraps for now?
keep it under secret for a little bit.
Always looking to get to the next level. Obviously, college D1 is the goal.
I'm looking to either play baseball or swim in college. It doesn't matter what, like D3, D1, D2. Doesn't matter to me. It's just as long as I'm the right fit for that college.
That's a good take.
I'd say, I don't know, just keep improving. Probably play college. I don't really care what. Like, as long as I'm still playing baseball, that's all that matters.
There you go. That's the right answer, kids, right there.
As of right now, I'm probably thinking JUCO, just to get another couple of years to develop as a player. Maybe transfer to a school that I want to spend the rest of my college days with, get a good degree.
That's a great take too, and some of you younger guys, something to think about too is we have three great JUCOs here in Indiana. You go to Illinois, and it's like one of the JUCO capitals of the country. So, a lot of them close. And, we've talked to a lot of people here. The baseball route is not straightforward. It's up and down. So, you got to go the JUCO route. You got to go, D3, NAIA, and eventually you'll get there. But like what you said, as long as you get to keep playing and you enjoy the game, you'll always get better, and it'll take you as far as you want to go. Guys, I appreciate it, and good luck this year. Thank you. Here with Mark Gallion, give us your title.
I am the Midwest Area Director for National Scouting Report. So I've got, our team covers Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, and we help out a little bit in the Chicagoland area for baseball.
I got to give a quick shout out to, is it Luke? Luke McKeechin from Harrison, helping me take down the hat rack. That's good men. You got a lot of good young men here, right?
Luke's a great kid. We've got a lot of kids here. I mean, we had over almost 160 kids here today. We had about 55 current NSR athletes. We're very selective who we work with, who we choose to work with, and Luke is at the top of the list. I mean, just like some of our committed kids that were here, it was an honor to have them here, giving back to these kids and giving back to the sport and showing these other kids what they did and what can happen.
Outside looking in, I see this as a success today. What's your measuring sticks?
That every kid has a great experience. We got a little, had a positive way. We had more kids show up than we anticipated, probably about 20% more than we expected. We just want to make sure every kid got to go through every metric, every station, quality video, and they had a great experience. That's all. That's a measuring stick for us.
Let's make it real easy so even Hardy the Hat Guy can understand it. How do they find you? Why do they need to find you?
As a former dad of two former college players, the process has changed drastically. You throw in the transfer portal. Some of these kids, the 23s and 24 class, they're fighting the extra year of eligibility due to COVID. National Scouting Report's been around 43 years. We're very blessed. I was an NSR dad before I became a scout. I saw what it did for my son, how it opened more doors. And as a matter of fact, a number of our scouts, Mike, Greg, Leanne's nephew, we're all former NSR families, and we saw what it did. So to find us, just go to @NSR Indiana on our Twitter. But we're at the one thing that's different about us, Dan, is we are at Grand Park every weekend of the summer. We are actually out live helping our athletes talk to college coaches, helping our athletes, making sure they're doing the right things in front of college coaches. So we're very active. We work with a number of the organizations throughout the state, throughout the Midwest, quite frankly, and also throughout the country.
Well, and that's the part where I got on board right away. It's more than just recording the exit velos. You're talking to these kids about academics. You're giving, and I talked to a lot of kids here today that, you're answering some questions for them when they really, they're confused on this whole process, and you're stepping in for them and filling the gap. What's the ultimate goal of NSR?
The ultimate goal is to help families and, most importantly, student athletes that we choose to work with through the entire recruiting process. We are there from start to finish, and go one step further. We are also there when they're in their college years. If they're a JUCO kid, we'll help them get into a four-year school. If they enter the transfer portal, we'll re-promote them into get into another school. But the ultimate goal is for them not just to get recruited. That's going to happen. 100% of our kids get recruited. Our success rate's about 94% commitment. But our ultimate goal is the same as mom and dad's. We want them to graduate college, live out their best 4 years that they're going to have up to this point, then go work for the next 50 like you and I.
94% commitment. I got to just stress that. That's unbelievable. What do you say to a kid that maybe didn't have his best performance today? It's not the end of the end game, is it?
No, there's so much more to it. First of all, we're going to tell them to keep working on their academics. Make sure the grades are up. Take the SAT and ACT early. But as far as if they have a bad day today, keep working hard. We're going to help them figure out what they need to work with, and that's why we videotape just about everything we do. We're going to be able to see why, or something that they may be, something in their swing, something in the way they're throwing the baseball, something in their running, and give them some things to work on to be the next time we do that. And coaches want that as well. Coaches look for progression of an athlete, how that athlete's development as a freshman, as a sophomore, as a junior, as an 8th grader, and how they continue to grow. So we'll be doing this again. They'll be doing it with other opportunities. Just keep working hard and stay positive and just do what they're supposed to do, both in the classroom and on the field.
And there's some things, maybe I should say under the radar, that you guys, you're here next week and you're doing some things to promote baseball at all I don't want to say all levels, but all environments, maybe we could say. So, I mean, it's more than just you getting paid and helping them go up. You've got a greater mission, so that's why I'm definitely on board, and I wanted to, stress that as well. So you tell us about Rusty, who is now, what's his title?
Rusty's father, Bob Rigney, started National Scouting Report back in 1980. And Rusty is now the president of National Scouting Report, a very close friend, but he is somewhat truly has a passion for helping student athletes and families through this process. He drove 8 hours to come help 150 kids and help our team make this a good event for everybody. It's not about me, it's not about our scouts, it's not about Rusty. It's about these kids, it's about these families. And Rusty, when we first met, just before COVID, quite frankly, when I first started. And I truly believe in what we do. I get to talk baseball every day. That's what I do 7 days a week. I get to talk baseball.
Baseball's not any fun, is it?
Oh my goodness, it's been very good to our family, which is kind of what we're doing next weekend. Just a little plug for that. We're working with a lot of the inner city schools, the IPS schools, and we're going to put on a completely free scouting recruiting seminar, metrics combine next week, and we're going to probably have another 125 kids in here next week for all the inner city kids.
How did you get involved, and how does that relate to your passion for baseball? What's your goal in this?
For next week?
For the National Scouting Report, your involvement.
I get it. All these kids that I work with, I call them my kids, okay? And I had a major charge personally when both of my kids committed. But when I get a kid or a call from a kid or a mom or a dad and says, hey, little Johnny's going to go play here. Thank you for what you did. Well, I didn't do anything, okay? It's that young athlete that worked hard in the classroom, worked hard in the field, did what he needed to do, made the sacrifices to make it to the next level. That's a rush for me, an absolute rush.
Well, we're definitely on board, and we're going to be following you. nsr-inc.com, I believe it is. Just look up NSR, and you'll find this guy right here, Mark Gallion. He's a baseball lifer, and that's why we were happy to be here today with Saturday morning, not so live, for baseball across Indiana. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you so much for all you do. Appreciate it.
Thanks, folks. Good night.